Welcome back to The More You Know. This time we are going to focus on some random topics, things that are going on in the township you may know about, you may not know about. We will start with what the heck is being built in the front yard there on the side of the district justice office. For those of you that don't know, it is actually a memorial wall. It's being built by the Erie chapter of the Bikers Against Child Abuse. This is not any taxpayer dollars or anything like that. They approached the supervisors a couple years ago and requested just a donation of some land so that they could put up this memorial wall. It will have the names of every child who has died at the hands of child abuse in Pennsylvania. And so moving on, we will talk just briefly about Etter Road and the bridge that's on Etter Road. We were hopeful that this summer was going to be the time that it was actually done. Unfortunately, this year, the excuse is that our engineered plans are not satisfactory to PennDOT. So we keep going back and forth with our engineer and their engineer, and they can't, for whatever reason, seem to come up with an adequate plan that's amicable to both places. We are waiting to do that entire road. We'd like to grind it and pave it until that bridge is done. We don't want to go ahead and put all brand new road down and just to have PennDOT come in and tear it up with their trucks when the bridge gets done. So that's what we're waiting for on Etter Road. Next topic we will talk about is Cool Road. Cool Road closure. The decision wasn't made in haste or wasn't made very lightly at all to close Cool Road. It was initially determined in 2019 that the culvert needed replaced. In order to do that work, though, easements needed obtained from each of the 4 residents that border the creek there. So 3 of those easements were obtained. And an easement is really just the landowner telling us we're allowed to have temporary control of their property so that we can do construction. So we did get 3 of the landowners to allow us to do that. The 4th refused, and unfortunately, we didn't have any choice then but to get our solicitor involved. And once that happened, then we had to move forward with something called eminent domain, and that is the lawful taking of someone's property to conduct work due to public safety issues. And that's kind of where we're at this point. That unfortunately took some time as far as legal proceedings go, and we did obtain eminent domain from that 4th resident on June 3rd, 2022, and Judge Rich was the one who awarded that to us. So now we can do the work that needs to desperately need done at this culvert. The unfortunate part and the part that made us close the road now is that in June we had some pretty severe thunderstorms. We knew that the we knew that the east side of the embankment was deteriorating and falling into the creek. But these rainstorms really accelerated that in June. And so as we kept monitoring the situation, it actually just really got worse and worse and worse. So more of the bank started eroding, coming very close to the edge of the road. There were huge fissures. The guardrail posts were coming out of the ground. It just was hazardous to motorists, and it became an emergent situation on the township's part, as of course we are charged with keeping our motorists and residents safe. So that's a big part of this. We had our engineer look at it several times. We had the road crew look at it several times. We had the emergency liquid fuels team from 5 different municipalities come and do an assessment. Most agreed that we needed to close the road. However, we did have an option to just decrease it down to 1 lane. We did talk about that option. Some of the factors in that, though, we would have been forced to reinforce the bank. And some of the estimates for that were anywhere from $25,000 to $75,000 to reinforce the bank. Not just stopping there, though. We would have had to move the west side of the guardrail over to accommodate the 1 lane traffic. So that would have taken, some repaving and moving and man hours. We would have had to put a stoplight, one of those electric stoplights at either end of that 1 lane. Those cost $3,000 a month to rent. So, when you start adding all of those things up, that comes out of the general fund. And we decided that that was not something we were willing to do, specifically because we were just going to rip all of that out in spring when we replace this culvert now that we have eminent domain. So the culvert is not just a regular pipe, it's concrete, it's very massive. That will go out to bid here, I believe, at the end of August, beginning of September, and it takes about 6 months for them to custom make it and then deliver it to the site. We do realize that Schwab Drive is not ideal as a detour. We don't intend it to be the detour. We have a detour marked that we believe is the safest detour possible. We did think about the winter months. We do intend to beef up our maintenance, specifically our snow maintenance and monitoring on Schwab Drive. We do realize that there is a very nasty S-curve at the bottom of that. It is not meant for heavy traffic, but it is also a taxpayer's road. I mean, the taxpayers pay for the maintenance and upkeep of it, so they are allowed to use it. We just prefer that people don't use it. We're requesting that people avoid it. It's just better if you use the detour. We can't force any of that. We do have signage up. We're in the middle of getting more signage up. We have taken suggestions from community members, from residents of Schwab Drive. We will do what we can to make this as safe as possible. We realize that it is not convenient. We realize that it is putting people out. We didn't do this to make anybody's life miserable. We really did this because we felt it was the safest thing to do. So you may or may not agree with that, but it is what it is, and it's not going to change until the construction's complete in the spring. If you would like further information, or if you need to speak with us about that, feel free to give the office a call. We can speak with you at any time. On a much lighter note, we have pickleball here in Greene Township. Pickleball is kind of like tennis. You use paddles and a perforated ball, and you hit it over this net you see. Our basketball court is now taped. I'm sorry, it's not taped. It's painted as for the pickleball court. You can still play basketball there too. These nets move purposely. There's a new league for pickleball in town, and so they do plan to do a few games, I think, out here. And they have, I believe, Harbor Creek now has pickleball also. So it's kind of just a new thing that's catching on. So if you're interested, we can certainly get you some information and contact information for you if you want to join in with the pickleball. Feel free to check it out. And lastly, National Night Out. That's coming August 2nd from 6 to 8. That's at the Township Building. It is one of our biggest events of the year. It is a free event. It is a community and family friendly event. We partner with United Way. Many municipalities do it. Ours is growing each year, year to year. Our Parks and Rec does a really good job at finding community agencies and businesses to come and kind of just let the community know that they're there, and what their services are, and all of this is free. Our fire department and all of their apparatuses will be there. All of our township machinery will be there. We'll have popcorn, face painting. We will have live music. So it's really a nice family event, and we're hopeful that you can come and join in. So until next time, that's enough for now. If you've got any suggestions on certain topics that you think that the community would need or want more information about, feel free to shoot me an email. Contact information for all of the supervisors can be found on our website. Thanks.